Hi, my name is Mike. I'm making this video to show how to replace the blower fan resistor and cable in a 2007 Chevy Colorado with much help from coloradofans.com website. As you know, this is an extremely common problem. You probably have found by Googling and came across my video link, but symptom is when you turn on the blower fan, nothing, full blast. And this is caused by a bad cable underneath the dashboard. Here you can see I've crawled underneath here and disconnected the cable, and as you should be able to see, two of those pins, especially this one right here, it's burned. Now typically the procedure is to replace the cable and the resistor, which of course I've got both. They've shown, if you've probably Googled and found the awesome thread on Colorado Fans, it's like 37 pages long. People have showed all kinds of other ways of fixing this, which included just snipping off this connector and replacing just this connector. Or there's also one really good picture where somebody snipped off the connector and wired these pins, wired these four cables directly to the bottom of that resistor you see there. Now, I'm not going to go through all that since this is my first time. I'm going to try just replacing the cable and the resistor and cross my fingers that they don't go bad. I might also try, depending on how much wiggle room is on the new cable and resistor when I put them in, I might try wrapping them in a little bit of electrical tape or something else, you know, whatever I can find in my toolbox to keep that cable from wiggling around inside of that connector on the bottom of the resistor, which is, as I understand it, is a big part of why these things go bad. To start, I'm going to have to make a little more room for myself to get under there to replace that whole cable. Pull that cover off. The glove box is also going to have to come off. I'm going to pause the video here for a second. It's these 3 screws, and then you just squeeze it together at these tabs up here and it'll come out. Okay, now you can see I've removed the glove box and that access panel on the side. That gives me about as much room as I'm going to get in here to get at my cable, which I'm going to be replacing here. It was 3 7mm bolts to remove the glove box, and it practically just fell out. I've got a replacement cable and a resistor in this box here from the GM Parts Direct website, which is listed on the coloradofans.com forum. I gotta say, I'm a little bit annoyed at GM Parts Direct that they are the only company in the history of any internet company ever that would only ship to the billing address on my credit card, which is grossly inconvenient for me because I can't really receive packages at that address. You know, why they wouldn't just have an offer to, you know, ship to a different address, which, you know, every other, you know, Amazon.com and everywhere else you order from, you know, you can have it shipped anywhere, but they wouldn't do that. So I finally was able to get my cable and my resistor, and I think their price was great. The part number is right on the Colorado Fans forum, and you know, I think it was $37 plus shipping. I called the dealership. I called a lot of auto parts stores around. A lot of auto parts stores had the resistor in stock. None of them had the cable. Advanced Auto Parts did actually have a picture of the cable in their computer. AutoZone couldn't find it and didn't know what the heck I was talking about. So, but the dealership wanted $51 for the cable and around $20 for the resistor. Most auto parts stores was around $20 for the resistor. So obviously it is some savings to go with GM Parts Direct. And here you can see the cable is mostly removed now. The white connector, it goes to the blower fan. The big gray connector was to the resistor, of course. This little connector I was worried about because I couldn't see where it was going, but it turned out it was just behind this piece of this insulated cable here, and it was connected with this annoying little pin through this little plastic tab up here, and then just going right there. And then there was another one that was snaking off, going to some kind of box right there. Now the last piece on this cable that I have is just this big connector right here. It's a tricky little cable, goes all over the place, but so far it hasn't been so terrible to replace. Okay, here you can see that the cable has now been removed. It's problems with the battery on my camera there. Hopefully I didn't miss too much, hopefully too much didn't get cut off. The sad thing about this is I actually just got this truck about 3 weeks ago, and I hate to have to be replacing something on a vehicle that I just went out and bought. Got it from CarMax. Got a pretty decent deal on it. It does have 63,000 miles on it, or 64,000. I put 1,000 miles on it in 3 weeks. But you know, obviously, you know, even though I did get the extended warranty and all that stuff, you know, it's not worth taking a 50-mile trip to the dealership for, you know, for something. You know, something as simple as this cable. I was a little concerned that maybe the cable had been replaced several times in the past, but I see this sticker on here. It's actually got a date on there. It says 9506, so presumably this is the factory cable, and it has not, in fact, been replaced 25 times already. So, now to get my new cable, get that wired in, and of course replace the resistor as well. Here's the old resistor coming out of there. It was just two 6mm bolts. You can actually see it looks like one of the pins inside of there is burned. But this just drops down from right up in here. Just take those two bolts, drop it out, and done. Just noticed this as I was starting to wire in the new one. Notice it's got a tag on it. You probably won't be able to read this, especially because I'm holding it upside down, but the new one has a tag on it that says 080311, which I'm assuming is a manufacturing date, August 3, 2011. So it doesn't appear that they've made any changes in the design, however, which is one of the things that was mentioned on the forum, was you know, that if they had put some sort of a gasket around this wide plug to keep it from wiggling. Okay, there we go. New one is all wired in. It did actually go in with a nice solid clunk. Feels like it's in there pretty securely. Not as wiggly as the old one, I guess. We'll see. Everything else, it's all buttoned back up, connector wise. I'll just have to put my covers back on. But first, let's test it. Hey, there we go. Very nice, very nice. We now have all of our different positions. Low. 1, 2. Awesome. Oh. It's beeping at me because of the seatbelt. So that's how you replace the resistor and cable in a 2007 Chevy Colorado. I believe the process is identical for previous model years, 04 through 08 or so, which I know that they all have this problem. The forum also mentioned a grounding block under the hood. That grounding block is a problem if your fan isn't blowing at all. Also, if your fan isn't blowing at all, it could just be that the fan motor is burned out. I will probably locate that grounding block and give it the pull it off, sand it down a little bit, and put the toothed washer in there, tip, that some people mentioned on the forum. There was also a really great post by a gentleman, I forget his screen name, but he had just cut that whole box off and grounded it directly to the firewall. I thought that's an awesome solution. Anyhow, hope you liked this video. I still have to put my glove box back on and put that little panel back on. That'll just take a few minutes. Overall, this wasn't more than, besides me, the time spent yakking off on this video, this is less than a 30-minute repair. Anybody could do this. I didn't need anything more than a couple basic sockets and a flashlight and a Leatherman to help me pull some of those connectors apart. I think I use these for something. But anyhow, if you enjoyed this video, you should check out my super awesome roller derby team, East Coast Devastation, at www.ecdrd.com, and like us on Facebook and come to our games because we kick ass. And I'm out. Have a good day. One last quick clip here before this storm rolls in. Looks like we're getting ready to have. There was some mention about the little block, the grounding block, and it is literally probably too dark to see, but my finger is on it right there. And there's also another one over here on the other side, right behind the ABS module there. Like that one guy said, you can just cut those off and ground them right directly to the body there without that stupid little junction block in the way. Seemed like an awesome idea. The way we used to do things on my old cars, just ground things right to the body. They made them too complicated in these newer cars, but I gotta say, this Colorado so far looks like it's gonna be pretty easy to work on. Although I had the damnedest time figuring out where the spark plugs were, which of course it turns out they're right under here. I was looking all down in here thinking there would be regular spark plug wires, but also top terminal battery. GM, I don't know when you did this, but I love it. About time you finally got away from those horrible side terminal batteries. Still need to put my brush guard on here, which is not going to happen today in the rain, unfortunately.